The mainstream media's portrayal of global warming has become a pervasive and relentless force in modern society, with an overwhelming majority of news outlets and media personalities perpetuating the idea that human-induced climate change is an existential threat to humanity. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly innocuous effort to raise awareness about environmental issues lies a more sinister agenda. The mainstream media's desire to control us with global warming propaganda. On the surface, the media's coverage of global warming appears to be a genuine attempt to inform the public about a critical issue. Yet, upon closer examination, it becomes clear that the media's narrative is often riddled with exaggerations, distortions, and outright falsehoods. The media's insistence on attributing every severe weather event, no matter how anomalous or unprecedented, to climate change is a stark example of this phenomenon. By creating a sense of perpetual crisis and urgency, the media aims to keep the public in a state of constant fear and anxiety, thereby rendering them more susceptible to manipulation and control. One of the primary reasons the mainstream media wants to control us with global warming propaganda is to further the interests of the global elite. The implementation of draconian climate policies, such as carbon taxes and cap and trade schemes, serves to consolidate wealth and power in the hands of a few wealthy and influential individuals. By creating a false narrative around the urgency of climate change, the media provides a convenient pretext for the imposition of these policies, which ultimately benefit the elite at the expense of the general population. Another significant motivation behind the media's propaganda campaign is to undermine national sovereignty and advance the cause of global governance. By promoting the idea that climate change is a global problem requiring a global solution, the media helps to create a sense of impotence and powerlessness among individual nations, thereby paving the way for the establishment of a global authority that can dictate climate policy to nations. This represents a significant threat to democracy and national autonomy, as it would concentrate immense power in the hands of unaccountable global institutions. The media's control of the narrative around global warming also serves to suppress dissenting voices and stifle debate. By labeling anyone who questions the media's orthodoxy on climate change as a denier or skeptic, the media creates a climate of intimidation and fear, where individuals are reluctant to express dissenting opinions or challenge the prevailing narrative. This is a classic tactic of propaganda, designed to suppress critical thinking and independent inquiry and to maintain a monopoly on the flow of information. Furthermore, the media's propaganda campaign around global warming has significant psychological and social implications. By creating a sense of existential dread and hopelessness, the media contributes to a culture of fear and anxiety, where individuals become increasingly dependent on the state and other external authorities for protection and reassurance. This represents a significant erosion of individual freedom and autonomy, as people become more willing to surrender their liberties and freedoms in exchange for the promise of security and safety. In conclusion, the mainstream media's portrayal of global warming is not a genuine attempt to inform the public about a critical issue, but rather a sophisticated propaganda campaign designed to control us and further the interests of the global elite. By creating a false narrative around the urgency of climate change, the media aims to suppress dissenting voices, undermine national sovereignty, and advance the cause of global governance. It is essential that we remain vigilant and critical in the face of this propaganda campaign, and that we work to promote a more nuanced and informed understanding of the complex issues surrounding climate change. Only by doing so can we hope to resist the media's attempts to control us and preserve our individual freedoms and autonomy.